4 of the last 6 NBA coaches to win the NBA championship are no longer with the team they won it with.
Yeah, so your best bet is to lose.
4 of the last 6 NBA coaches to win a championship. Nick Nurse is no longer with the Raptors, and quite frankly, I don't know how much longer he's going to be with the 76ers. Frank Vogel is no longer with the Lakers. He lasted 1 season with the Suns. He's gone there, too. Mike Budenholzer, 1-1 with the Bucks. Who knows how much longer he's going to be the coach of the Suns. Michael Malone just got added to the list. The coach of the 2023 NBA champion Denver Nuggets, with 4 games to go in the regular season, and the Nuggets currently occupying the 4th seed in the Western Conference. He got fired today. The general manager of the Nuggets was told he wasn't going to be brought back when his contract expires. You read the stories behind the scenes. Apparently, these two cats weren't talking to each other at all.
Nope.
Like, the relationship was broken beyond any repair.
Talked with a real high-ranking NBA executive today. Said, I'm surprised it took so long. This has been going on for a while. Malone is just a pain in the ass, and this is not about wins and losses. And I said, I mean, this is like, how do you do this? This like, could there be a benefit? And he said, absolutely, there could be a benefit. But if you've got a salty environment, you got not a really good environment, you know, this will be better for the players. Like, it'll be better for them if, you know, an assistant coach takes over. Who's taking over, Mitch? Did they say?
David Adelman.
Okay, Adelman's
Rick
taking over.
Adelman's son, right? Who's been the assistant there for
He's
7
replacing
years.
Brennan Malone's son. It's a whole Nepo file of coaches
exactly.
there.
But he's the number one. He was the number one assistant. Yeah, so he's going to take over, and maybe you get a little bit of spark because if guys weren't liking Malone. Look, this is the NBA. I mean, we saw it with Monty, you know? Like, we saw it with Monty Williams. Monty came in, like, everybody loves Monty. All of a sudden, he didn't want to coach Jay Crowder. He didn't want to coach DeAndre Ayton. Oh, but Monty's a players coach. Yeah, for the players he likes. I mean, he's a players coach for the players he likes, not a players coach for the players he don't like. Mm-hmm. He hated Jay Crowder. He hated DeAndre Ayton because these guys, their ego just gets so big. Coach, you think players have egos? The coaches are worse. They're worse, these coaches. So, you know, that's what happened. I mean, it was just, he was a pain in the neck. They weren't getting along, been going on for a while, and they decided they needed a fresh start, just a fresh start.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Monty Williams. It's funny. I mean, I know the Pistons lost last night to the Kings, but they've had a tremendous season there. How can you not at least a little bit think about Monty Williams when you consider he was the coach of that team last year, and they were god-awful terrible?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and they fire him, and they bring in J.B. Bickerstaff, and all of a sudden they're the 5th seed in the East, 6th seed in the East, having a great season. So, yeah, this is the NBA, and which is why, you know, for all of the outrage, pretend or real or otherwise, that there might be if the Suns make a move with Budenholzer here in the next week or month or whenever it's going to be, you know, understand that all of these teams are just looking for the right guy and the right fit. And if you've got the means and the financial ability to make a move like this, why wouldn't you? If you got a coach that can get the job done for you, like Monty Williams last year in Detroit, I don't care how much we owe you. You ain't getting the job done. Or go find somebody else who's going to do it because it's not you. And you make that move. Now, the move today, there's 2 ways to look at it if you're a Suns fan. Okay, way number 1 is to say, should the Phoenix Suns pursue Michael Malone, or I'll even throw Taylor Jenkins in there, who got let go from the Memphis Grizzlies a few weeks ago. Should the Suns be pursuing either one of those coaches if they make a move for Mike Budenholzer? You want to comment on that, and then I'll go to this?
I think that if you're the Phoenix Suns, you have to explore all options. I've said before that I think that after hiring, you know, 2 coaches, older white coaches that have won a championship, I wouldn't be surprised if they went with a former player, younger. I wouldn't be surprised with that if they just went a different direction because, like, the last 2 didn't work. But do I think that they should take a look? Yes. Taylor Jenkins, Malone, like, I think you've got to look at everything to try to find the right guy. You first got to decide what you're going to do with Bud.
Right.
And, you know, the only person that knows what's really going to happen are the main people involved, and that's, you know, Matt Ishbia and Josh Bartlestein and James Jones as what's going to happen with Bud. We'll all know really soon. You would think that there's going to be somebody to blame for this mess, that there's somebody that's going to take the blame for it. I don't think you just go blame, like somebody's going to take a fall for just how bad this season's been.
And that leads to my other point about this, okay, is the timetable for making a decision on Budenholzer and James Jones for the Phoenix Suns. Now that, I think, just got a little more complicated by the fact that you're competing with the Denver Nuggets now for head coaches or general managers.
Yeah. And that's why some people feel like, you're better to just like make the firing now so you can get the process started, but also try to light a little bit of fire into your team, because obviously if they weren't clicking with Malone, it was getting bad, maybe the players will respond better to the assistant coach.
I would argue that if the Suns are going to make a move with either their coach or their GM or both, it would behoove them to do it as soon as possible, right? Like to come to that conclusion, to not dilly-dally, not wait around, and not just because, the Denver Nuggets might hire the general manager you would want to hire. They might hire the coach you'd want to hire. You've got a little urgency now that is baked into this equation. Because remember with Frank Vogel, if I remember this right, the Suns kind of took their time with Frank, didn't they?
At the end, they had to, yes.
I seem to recall they went about 3 weeks before the season ended for them. Maybe I'm misremembering it. Maybe it wasn't quite that long. But it wasn't right away with Frank. There was at least a week or two where they were sort of determining his fate. I don't think they can afford to do that this time around, with the Memphis job potentially being open, with the Denver job potentially being open. Now, both of those.
Don't forget the Kings as well, who are still working with Doug Christie.
Right, of course. Yeah, thank you. Now, all of those teams will be in the playoffs. So they're not going to, I don't think they're going to hire a new coach until their playoff run is done with the interim. But I still think it puts a little urgency into the situation.
The Suns last year, I'm just trying to get to my notes on this, but it was more about like they looked at a bunch of different things and had to determine, was it the players? Was it the roster? Was it the coach? So they looked at like these different buckets and tried to figure out, okay, what exactly is it? And that's when they, decided, okay, we're going to make a change. We think we've got to do some things that remember, that's when they thought their roster was really good. We still think we have a great roster, and they addressed the point guard, but they felt like they needed to be a change in leadership at that point, and that's why they made the firing of Frank Vogel.
Okay, I did remember it correctly. The Suns season ended on Sunday, April 28th. They fired Frank Vogel on May 17th.
What day did the season end?
April 28th.
April 28th,
and they fired Frank Vogel on May 17th.
Yeah.
So a good 2.5, 3 weeks went by before they fired him.
I
don't know if they want to wait that long.
I think it's pretty safe to say that they know what they're going to do right now.
Okay.
Like if you said to me, like, they know what they're going to do. They don't have to sit and decide. Like, they've been through this enough now. They know if they're going to keep Budenholzer or fire Budenholzer.
Thanks for watching Burns Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.